What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Miniature Mayhem. My name is Chris. In today's tutorial I've got a really easy method for painting skeletons for Warhammer Age of Sigmar, specifically Watch Captain Halgrim from the Cursed City box set. If you do find this tutorial useful, please head down below, hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's get straight into the video. For Watch Captain Halgrim, I've given him an all-over base coat of Chaos Black. I've already painted the base up here, and if you want to see how that's done, I'll add a link to the video above that goes over this in more detail. And now, to start applying some base coats, I'm adding Xandri dust to all of the bone areas. As we're going straight over black, this may require a couple of thin layers. Don't forget there is a bone inside the thigh, and behind the knee there is another knuckle bone. For the first highlight, I'm using a 1-on-1 mix of Xandri dust and Screaming Skull. We're going to apply this all over the same areas, but this time avoiding the deepest recesses. You can build this up in a few thin layers as well. For the final highlight on the bone, I'm adding a layer of pure Screaming Skull, this time focusing on just the raised areas and some of the ridges along the skull. With that layer now dry, we have a nice bleach bone effect. For the cloak, we're going to go with an all-over base coat of Mephiston Red. This base paint is absolutely fantastic at going straight over black. It will take a couple of thin coats, but you'll get a really nice even coverage in no time at all. Using just a small amount of water, I think this worked out 2 or 3 coats in some places. It gave a really nice smooth finish. For the Watch Captain's leather belt and scabbard, I've used an all-over base coat of Mournfang Brown. I did make a mistake here. I used way too much water in my mix, and rather than admit my mistake and just start again, I decided to use about 4 layers. It took absolutely ages. I realised at this stage I'd also forgotten to paint the eye patch, so I gave this a base coat of Mephiston Red. For the silver metallic areas, I applied an all-over base coat of Leadbelcher Silver. This paint is quite thin, especially over black, so it may require 2 or 3 thin coats. For the main armour, I applied an all-over base coat of Runelord Brass. I decided pretty early on in this project I was going to go for a Tolkien-inspired Easterling colour theme, and I think it really applies nicely to these models. With that now dry, base coating all of the main areas is complete, and now we can start adding some details and shading. I really want these skeletons to have a nice dirty look, so I've applied an all-over base coat of Agrax Earthshade to everything apart from the bones and the base. Just make sure to keep moving the ink around until you're happy with where it's going to settle. Try not to let it pool anywhere too much where you don't want it. Using a 3-in-1 mix of Lahmian Medium to Mephiston Red, I've started applying glazes all over the cloak, focusing on the raised areas and leaving the shade in the recesses. When you do paint in order to glaze, you want to make sure that you don't put too much paint on your brush. As you apply the paint to the model, it should dry almost immediately. I think when most people think of glazing, they think of hundreds and hundreds of layers, but you can actually achieve some really nice transitions with just 2 or 3 coats. I'm thinking about doing a video focusing on that. If there's something you'd like to see, please leave a comment down below. To highlight the cloak, I've added a small amount of Troll Slayer Orange into the previous mix and just focused on the raised areas and the edges of the folds of the cloak. Using a 1-on-1 mix of Mournfang Brown and Carrick Stone, I've applied some chips and edge highlights to the leather. If you do make any mistakes here, just tidy up again with some Mournfang Brown. And now to start weathering the bronze, I'm going to use an Iolac Oxide. Normally with this kind of weathering, less is more, so just try and focus on where you want it. Try and keep it sporadic and random. Do some nice little lines and just keep it into the pulled areas and around the recesses of the armour. With that now complete, I'm going to do the same on the steel areas, this time with Mournfang Brown mixed with Larmian Medium. Using Trollslayer Orange, I've applied a second highlight to some of the weathering, normally inside the deepest recesses. For the hair, I've applied an all-over base coat of Corvus Black. To highlight the hair, I've just used Dawnstone Grey. And with the hair now dry, Watch Captain Halgrim is now complete. I'm really happy with how this guy came out. If you'd like to pick up any of the supplies used in today's video, check out the description down below, follow the link to Element Games for a 20% discount on all of your hobby supplies. So there we go, another villain of the Cursed City now complete. If you did find today's tutorial useful, make sure to head down below, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, share us with a friend who you think might find this video useful, and as always, catch you in the next one.